Hello, welcome to McBoss Capital channel. My name is Michael Chu. We're going to talk about the latest trending growth stocks this week, ending November 29, 2024, just after US Thanksgiving and Black Friday. On the market recap video, if you haven't watched it, feel free to follow it. We talk about how NASDAQ kind of underperform a little bit compared to other indexes. So right now, not too many tech stocks showing strength other than the usual Palantir. Those two main stocks are still running pretty strong, which also making new highs this week. But we'll see on this list. And so we're gonna go over this list that about 200 stocks I follow. The criteria is that they have greater forward earnings in terms of growth and for the next 4 quarters. And so not too many stocks, but also but I'm surprised there's over 200 stocks that I follow doing that has those criteria. And then here on the spreadsheet we have the technical strength, the daily relative strength, weekly relative strength. So these are the ones that are closing high on the weekend on the day of Friday. As well, we see the symbol here and the percent gain here since October 9th, which is roughly a little bit less than 2 months, a little bit. And then we have the weekly price percentage here. So pretty much all these stocks close with a gain this week. And this is the date where they make new highs and the last recent high. And this all make highs on Fridays. And they're all in uptrend right now. So it's worth taking a look. We have ML in software financial, ATEC, medical products, SOFI, consumer loans, IREN, financial service special. This one has a huge gain this week. AXON in the security, Shopify, computer software that has an 8% gain this week. And then we have SFM, Super Mini Market, CAE, Aerospace Defense, JPT, Machine General Industrial, AHR, Property REITs, KKR Investment Management, Goldman Sachs Banks Money Center, Texas Roadhouse Restaurant, AM Oil and Gas Integrated, HESM Oil Gas Transport Pipeline, and we have Apple down here as well doing pretty well. We cover Apple in the main market video. Feel free to watch that one. We're just going to talk about a few stocks that I am trading here. So let's go look at SFM. So with SFM, you can see the earnings are doing pretty well going forward, right? For the December quarter, 46% growth. This stock is pretty much under the radar on most people's screens. Like, but you look at the weekly chart, it has done really well in the last year, and even more than that, right? Since let me move this guy. You can see like the main last base was back in mid 2023. So and then since that breakout, it has really started to climb. Like this was the last flat base it formed, and then it has really climbed like steadily, right? It goes up here pretty fast right here on the earnings, and then it built another flat base, and then another earnings, and then it go up pretty fast, pull back right here, and then another earnings. Wow, so all the earnings are really pushing this stock higher. Except this one, it didn't react too much. So look at the daily chart. So here's the long run right here. This is the long run. It's a little bit squished now because how much it went up from 60 something now to 150. So here we have the last earnings gap, and then when it came back the next day and it found support, that's when I add my first position, lock in some profit right here, pulls back, bought a position right here, and then it bounced, and now lock in some more profit here. So far, look, Friday makes a new high. Even though it's only half a day, it's still making a new high. And a little bit extended from the 10-day. You can see this is where I put my stop. So we'll see what happens. But this stock is just phenomenal from the strength perspective. It just been holding the 10-day like pretty good. Look at this one right here, then right here, then right here, and then right here right now. So the next one we want to talk about is CAE Aerospace Defense. The group is generally strong. This one the earnings are improving, right? From negative earnings to positive earnings. So this green line here, which is the earnings line, is kind of going down, but hopefully it's going to come back up now. Now this is not a good looking chart at all. This is a 20 something dollar stock, so it's going to be more volatile. Mid cap 7 billion. But recently it has started to move, and then this earnings really push it much higher. So let's look at daily chart. So here's the black line, which is the 200 moving average. You can see right here the one down day it reversed after it tried to break out, but it found support right away, like near the 10-day moving average right there. Then it bounced and gap up, and then after a couple of days you see there's a support right there. That's when I take my first position, and then it goes up here, lock in just a little bit of profit, and then here as again it found support right there, and then I added again, and now it seems to be holding up pretty well. And seeing where the 10-day is right now, the green line, uh, look how it traded pretty much near above that line, the green line, and really, not trying to come back down, right? So, and then Friday again, one of the things that I saw on Friday was a lot of stocks, despite half a day of trading, some of them making new highs. And then recently, like this week, especially Wednesday, like this one didn't even go down, because Wednesday was a down day for most of the market. And so the fact that it was able to make highs, new highs on Friday, again, show a lot of strength. Not touching the 10-day moving average also show lots of strength. Next stock is HESM midstream oil and gas transport pipeline. Now the energy, the oil, we talked about that in the market recap video. They're not doing well this week, right? But despite that, the energy stocks hold up pretty well when we look at the XLE. And so this is one that is improving their earnings quite a bit, 25 to 30%, and it hasn't moved a lot in the past. So it's possible this is not going to move much, and that's just one of the things that could happen. But if we were to, and this is a base on base pattern, we haven't seen much volume come in. So that's another problem. But let's go look at the daily chart. We draw a trend line right here. You can see it clearly broke the downtrend line and came above it. And once it came above it, it was able to hold above that level. And from there, it slowly climbed. And look how, again, it didn't really ever come down to the 10-day. It always come close to it, and then it bounced. So that's another sign of some sort of accumulation happening here. Again, I like to see more volume, but sometimes it comes later. We'll see, and especially if it comes near the traditional breakout point, we want to see volume here, and as it breaks out. So I do want to make a note about this list. It's much shorter than usual. So normally I see more stocks making new highs on relative strength, making new actual price high also at the end of the week. But this week we only saw like very little, like less than 15, not even 15 stocks here. So a little bit concerned about that. But if we expand this, so here I'm just going to filter by 29, 27, and 26, and 25. So anything that has made new high this week. And I just want to see how many stocks here. So this is 131. So you can see some of them make new highs on 25th, which is Monday. But let me now take out Monday, and I'm going to do another count here. So 79. So there's 79 stocks that have made new high on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Friday. Next, I'm going to take out Tuesday and just do Wednesday and Friday. It's down to 57 stocks. So that's still not bad. 200 stocks. So again, the reason why I'm doing this is just like I wanted to get a sense of like when did the stocks top recently, right? And so from Monday we have 130, and then from Tuesday we have can't remember number 80, around 80. Then now we're down to the 50, and then as we know from Friday only highs was only around 15 stocks. So a little bit lower than usual. So I just want to cautious that. The other thing is probably the relative strength is also weaker than usual. Like I didn't see as many stocks making closing highs on the week here. So let me just filter here. So if I count just the relative strength on the week, we see 29 stocks out of 200-ish stocks. So roughly only 10% closed the week at the high. Despite Friday was a good day, right? Like I mean, it was a bounce on the market. So again, I don't want to say we're top or something, but we just want to be a little bit cautious. In the market recap video, two stocks, actually three stocks I did trade were all stop out this week was BRT, CLS, and ALAB. And all three are a little bit tied to the data centers and the AI story. So that's very interesting. So we gotta be cautious because when leaders start to fall, whether it'll spread into other areas or other leaders, I'm not sure. The other thing is when I was going through the ones that are in the downtrend here, so if I clear this, so right here we see all the downtrend stocks. There's about 47, so roughly 20% so, right? It's in the downtrend. So that's also slightly more concerning because now we're seeing more stocks in there. Like for example, SQ, CLS I just mentioned earlier, SQ is in a downtrend, so that's a little bit concerning. So let's jump to that right now. Now, what do I consider as a downtrend? Usually when it's like either at the 10-day or below it slightly, or sometimes it's below the 21-day. Usually it would be below either one of those. And you can see SQ is starting to come back. It's down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Now, there's good and bad about this current chart, right? It always came up quite a bit, and you can see I took 3 positions, locking a little bit of profit here. And you can see I raised my stops as it goes up. Right now we are very close to my stop. If it break the 10-day, most likely it will hit my stop. So the good thing is after 5 days, it was able to hold the 10-day moving average, especially the last 3 days. You can see even though it undercut each day a little bit. Let me go to a 15-minute intraday chart here. So here's the low. We undercut it here. So I guess Friday it didn't undercut it here, right? It's more clear here. It didn't undercut it, but very close, right? I think my stop is probably somewhere here or something. But anyhow, the point being like this is like kind of drifting down, and so there's lots of stocks doing that right now. Like I said, 20% of the stocks are doing that. Delta is another one that I'm trading. It's also just sitting around that area of the 10-day moving average. So you can see right here. So it has pulled back, and then it's just kind of not bouncing a lot, but still holding that 10-day moving average, right? So we'll see if it can hold this level. So again, nothing severe yet, but things could change drastically in a couple of days, right? If something, if this breaks and then breaks, right? So this is not what you want to see, and we got that in back in August. It just took like only 3 days and it dropped quite a bit. Like this is happening for a lot of stocks, right? That was like the bad times. So I hope we don't see something like that, but if we do, we gotta be prepared to handle it. Another stock that yeah, I'm watching Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs in the financial area. Surprisingly, again, Morgan Stanley is kind of in a downward trend right now. Nothing too severe. You can see it dropped below the 10-day, and then it tried to bounce back a little bit on Friday. So we'll see where this is going to head. Right now, the slope is pretty strong. If it finds resistance here, we could be having that back down. Goldman Sachs is slightly better, like you can see above 10-day near the high. So but it hasn't really moved up higher either. So that's also not a good thing. So there's also like VRT we mentioned in the main market recap video is in a downtrend. Symbolic got really hit hard with their delay of their filing or something in the future. So there's some stocks here that are still in the downtrend. Kava is right here. Nvidia again, we also talked about that in the main market video. It's just not doing much and it's kind of slowly drifting down. ARM is also there. Taiwan Semiconductor as well. So this is the whole list. I won't be able to go through all of this, but feel free to look at it when you have time. Again, my criteria for the fundamental earnings stuff is very strict. So not all stocks going to be on this list, even the ones that are doing really well, like that has done well in the past. But So we have bespoke, SEZL. So this one is starting to come back down. Let's take a look at that one. So here we go. It obviously did really well on the gap up here. Then it pulls back and then found support right here. Didn't touch the 10-day. Bounced to new high and then pulled back. And this time it did cross slightly below the 10-day. And then on Friday it kind of bounced a little bit. Now again, this is a very steep slope right now. Unless it can, kind of really bounce back up, this is currently on the downtrend. So we have APP, didn't make a new high since Monday, but still doing good, still up for the week. We have ML, ATEC, Reddit down for the week. SOFI is up. This one is making new high. IREN up 25% this week. XMTR upward. ALAB, DSP. This one is doing good too, slightly up 0.8%. UTI, TPL, TZOO, LRN. So this stock has been climbing pretty smoothly so far after this gap up. So you can see it just slowly move up, right? Holding the 10-day pretty good here. Then it finally pulls back here and then can't tell if it touched the green line, but pretty close to it, and then it bounced off that. Then here's where I took my first profit, and it's still holding really strong. Look at those two bars here on the down days. Volume, even though volume is much lower even on Wednesday, and then it closed at the top of the range. Not many people want to sell the stock. We have MDGL, GTLS, Palantir, also very similar to APP. Both of this, I think they make a closing high on Friday, but the intraday high was Monday. So we'll see if they can continue higher. Those two are phenomenal so far in the last few months. OLO, SMTC, TOST. This one is doing really well. TWLO, very similar to LRN, gap up and just keep climbing, and then finally took a break right here, pulls back to the 10-day and then bounce. So now we're at new high recently, and then we pull back 2 days. Look at that volume. Doesn't look like people want to give this up yet. And still sit comfortably above the 10-day. The 10-day is right here on the green line. Next we have KD. KD is also doing phenomenal. Here's the original gap up within the base. Then it finally broke out right here, and it make another gap up from this breakout, and it was a really strong breakout. You can see that it gained quite a bit, locking some profit right there, and then it keep going up for 4 more days, and then locking a little bit of profit here as well. So on Friday it did reverse. So but obviously volume is really low, so can't make too much of it. But the problem right now is it is sitting right much higher than the 10-day moving average. So wouldn't be surprised if we come back down as the 10-day comes up and kind of consolidate around this level. Next we have NGVT, AVPT, AXON still doing well, making new highs. You can see right here. Shopify right here. We already talked about CLs in downtrend. RVLV, this name, it's a newer name, at least for me. Yeah, worth paying attention to. VCEL, Biotech, Fresh, WGS, PRCT, PBPB, Globe, RMBS, GSHD. So this is another stock I have traded. Here's the gap up on earnings. Again, you see a lot of resemblance among a lot of these stocks that are performing really well. They all gap up from the earnings and they just keep heading higher. So here we gap up, then we come up here a little bit extended, then it pull back, then it goes up again, a little bit extended, pulls back, then it goes up again, a little bit extended, pulls back. So it just keeps following that pattern. And right now we are seeing 2 down days, but it's still sitting pretty comfortable above the 10-day moving average. And we just got that test right here recently. So those are 2 good signs, right? So we tested already, and we are sitting more higher than the green line. So this could go on, and who knows, another leg, right? We have MGNI. This is a computer software enterprise, worth watching it. So this one broke out right here on this gap up. There's lots of volume here. So I don't have this name before, so this is a newer name to me. McKnight, and then it moves up, pulls back right here. That's when it bounced. That's my first position. Then it goes up. Unfortunately, I missed the earlier week bounce right here. It went up really high. I did some profit there, and then it comes back down, and so far it seems to be holding right here at this level. And then on Friday, it makes a little bit higher high than the previous 2 days. So not good, not too bad of a sign. And the volume on Wednesday was much lower, even though it was full day. So that's also another good sign. KRNT, WIX, VST. So VST and CEG, you know, very popular stocks in the electric kind of power type of providing power stock, and starting to come back. So we have this kind of small correction here. Then it's starting to move up in this again very similar pattern. You're gonna see that in all the growth stocks. They usually should climb like that. It's very healthy. So far taking two positions right now is looks like it's starting to bounce again. Uh, we'll see, right? Cabana, Hubs, NCY, Fix, LPLA, Q2, TTMI, JBT, QFIN, CVLT, SQ, SKYW, OII. So OII is starting to come out of this base right here. So probably the first buy point right there. I did miss that. Then it pulls back. Then gives you another opportunity right here as it comes back up, and then try to break out, but you can see it kind of pulls back after that. Now, so far, this pullback has been very ordinary. Also, it didn't come down to the green line yet, and just holding really nicely here. So if it does try again, it might break out, and we'll see how that goes. Volume on the 2 down days did subside a little bit on the second day, so there might be a chance here. PTSG, Netflix, we talked about in the main market video. BX, AROC, ADMA, Spotify, AR. So this is Antero Resource, US oil and gas, US exploration. So let me just jump quickly to XOP. So this one has been climbing nicely, and as we talk about in the main market video, the energy mostly has come down this week, especially oil, because of the oil price. But the XOP are holding pretty strong. Like it's above the 10-day even after a few days of drop. So this gives me a sign that maybe this group can continue its strength. So we'll see. So yeah, so this is a nice base, and we'll see if it tries again to break out and see how that holds. Then we have XPOF, GPOR, NERDS, WCC, ATGE. So this is also in the consumer service education like LRN, with Delta, PAN, RCL, AYE, 4. As we talk about in the main market video, financials are really strong. Since the election, it has really continued its strength. It hasn't really fall apart or anything like that, or even give a pullback that's strong enough. Now, 4 is you can see here the last 2.5 weeks and so has been really strong, especially after this earnings right here. So let's go look at the daily chart. So the earnings it didn't actually do that well. I think it was a very volatile day. Yeah. And then it pulls back, and surprisingly it didn't hit my stop here, and then it bounced, and then we had this one really nice day here on this bounce, and then since that bounce, look at where it's trading the lows here. It's much higher than this green line, which is the 10-day moving average. So there's lots of accumulation in this stock, and when this comes to selling, there seems like there's not too much selling. So Friday was a reversal though. But again, it's too little volume to judge what happened. But it's a good thing that no one wants to sell in terms of volume here. It's really low. Then we have RDNT, Priva, Jeff, Enwa. This one also doing good. So this is consumer loan financial. This is a breakout right here. Very tight here, trading around the breakout zone. Once it finally moved right here, then it gap up, it goes up a little bit higher before another pullback, then it goes up higher, and now 3 days it didn't even come back down to the green line. Very phenomenal strength. And look at those selling volume on the red. It is starting to diminish. So lots of uh, people want to hold this one. Then we have DV, TRGP, DoorDash, AZAC. So AZAC right here, it's a long base, really long base, and it tried to. This is the first kind of trend line breakout, but it pulls back one more time before it took off. Then at the traditional buy point, it breaks out from there and then it pulls back. And look at where it's closing. It's sitting right here, and where's the 10-day? Right here. So it just doesn't want to come back to 10-day moving average. As you can see, I did add on Friday on this one. This next one is called Lightspeed. Pretty new on my list and hasn't done well for a while now, but looks like right now it's starting to make some effort and it's climbing out right here on this big base. So this is a big pullback right here after this few days run. Really test out anyone patient if they're holding it. Then they finally move on earnings right here, gap up, and then it goes up higher right here, but then it pulls back to the 10-day. Now when it pulls back to the 10-day, look at what happened the following days. It was trading so tight. Now I'm holding this stock right here and two positions right here, and you know I was actually thinking it probably will fail because it's just not moving. And then all of a sudden we get this one day of energy comes in and buying, and then it started to take off again. And so far, even Friday it was able to hold, and now we're sitting near the highs right now of this base on the breakout point. So there's a chance that this could be very similar to K-Day. If it breaks out, we could see lots of, because this is a more illiquid stock based on the pricing, we might see a big move here. So let's see how that goes. Then we have NARI, SCHW, SHAC, WK, Duo, RNG, DRS, AHR. So there's some REITs doing well right now. AAL, CPS, ESE, HAE, Macy. This is Medical System Equipment Group. So Intuitive Surgical is also in this group. This one is a smaller one than that. Again, hasn't done too much, but now it's starting to climb on this right side. It did break out right here, and then we have this strong week, probably based on earnings, and it has then it pulled back, and then it has now continued to climb. Here's the daily chart. See this big breakout, but then it kind of pulls back to the 10-day right here. Then it trades so tight. Like the trade tightening is always a good sign, and it can fail. So sometimes it will just fail. But in this case, it was able to hold so tight and finally take off. And when it took off, it came up to here, and then it pulls back. So far, let me take out all my markups. So far, it's able to hold nicely above the 10-day moving average, right? And Friday it did bounce a little bit. So we'll see. Next we have D-King, CR Crane. This is diversified operations. Earnings are pretty stable and going up. And here we have this base right here, pretty choppy base, but it broke out probably on earnings and looks really good after that. So let's go look at daily. So right here is the base. So even though it breaks out, it pulls back right here. So that was not good. But then here it bounced. It bounced back above the 10-day on the earnings, and that's when my first position came in. Then it holds so tight, bounce up right here. So here's a nice move, goes up a little bit more, pulls back, and then bounce. And that's my second position, goes up, then pulls back. Now I took on my markups. Now you can see there was a reversal on Wednesday, so that I don't usually like to see a reversal when it make a higher high than previous day and then comes back and make a newer low. And then on Friday the bounce is very weak, but nonetheless it is still holding the green line, which is 10-day moving average. So we'll see how this holds up. Next we have MERM, NTRS, FBS, OKE, CWN, IMM. And you can see as you scroll down here, I'm not going to go through a lot of this for time's purpose, but yeah, feel free to look at this list. There's still lots of stocks in the uptrend, but we have to be a little bit cautious. Based on the stocks that we just went through, we're still seeing lots of strength. So I'm not too concerned, but there are some few stocks that are showing weakness right now. But overall, the the list here that I have still looks pretty healthy. Um, and we'll see if we can market can take another leg up as we head into December. So here I'll just go let you browse through this list. Feel free to play it, pause it, and just study this list. Anything you like to see here. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. Hope you like and subscribe. Until next time, take care.